What if the most terrifying monster in history wasn't a creature of the night, but a real man whose cruelty surpassed even the darkest legends? The name Dracula conjures images of tale aristocrats and blood-drinking immortals, but the truth behind the myth is far more disturbing. This is the story of Vlad III, Prince of Wallachia, better known as Vlad the Impaler, a man whose reign was so brutal that his name became synonymous with horror. But was he merely a sadistic killer, or a ruler forced to use extreme measures in a world of endless war and betrayal? Vlad was born in 1431 in the fortress of Siusoara, a rugged region of Transylvania caught between the rival powers of Christian Europe and the expanding Ottoman Empire. His father, Vlad II, was a member of the Order of the Dragon, a chivalric group dedicated to defending Christianity against the Ottomans. This earned him the name Dracula, meaning dragon or devil. Young Vlad would later adopt the title Dracula, son of the dragon, a name that would one day inspire nightmares, but his childhood was far from noble. At just 12 years old, he and his younger brother Radu were sent as hostages to the Ottoman court, a common practice to ensure their father's loyalty. There, Vlad witnessed the empire's ruthlessness firsthand, learning the brutal politics that would shape his future. When Vlad finally returned to Wallachia, his homeland was in turmoil. His father had been betrayed and murdered, his older brother blinded and buried alive. The throne was a deadly prize, constantly fought over by rival nobles and foreign powers. Vlad seized power in 1456, and what followed was a reign defined by bloodshed. His signature method of execution, impalement, became infamous. Victims were forced onto sharpened stakes, often left to die slowly in public displays meant to terrify enemies and subjects alike. The Ottomans, who had once held him captive, soon felt his wrath. When Sultan Mehmed II demanded tribute, Vlad refused. When Ottoman envoys mocked him, he had their turbans nailed to their heads. War was inevitable, and Vlad was ready. In 1462, Mehmed II, the conqueror of Constantinople, marched on Wallachia, with an army vastly outnumbering Vlad's forces. But Vlad didn't fight like a traditional ruler. He waged a war of terror. He burned his own villages, poisoned water supplies, and led guerrilla attacks under cover of night. His most infamous act was the Forest of the Impaled, where thousands of Ottoman prisoners were skewered on stakes outside the city of Targovik. The sight was so horrifying that even Mehmed, no stranger to brutality, was said to have turned back, declaring, "What can be done against a man who does such things?" Yet Vlad's cruelty wasn't limited to the battlefield. He ruled with an iron fist, punishing even minor crimes with death. Thieves were impaled, dishonest merchants were burned alive. One legend claims he invited beggars to a grand feast, only to trap and burn them, declaring he was ridding society of parasites. Another story says he tested the loyalty of his court by leaving a golden cup in a public square untouched, because the people feared his wrath too much to steal. Whether these tales are true or exaggerated, they spread like wildfire, painting Vlad as a monster, but history is rarely so simple. To some, Vlad was a harsh but effective ruler. In a land plagued by corruption and lawlessness, his extreme punishments brought order. He despised the scheming nobility, executing treacherous boyars who had betrayed his family. He protected the common people from bandits and invaders, even if his methods were horrifying. Some historians argue that his brutality was a calculated strategy, terror as a weapon to keep Wallachia independent in an era of constant war. Vlad's downfall came not from an enemy army, but from betrayal. His own brother, Radu, had grown close to the Ottomans during their shared captivity and now led forces against him. Abandoned by allies, Vlad was captured and imprisoned for over a decade. He briefly regained power in 1476, but within months, he was dead, killed in battle. His head cut off and sent to Constantinople as proof of his demise. Yet his legend only grew. Stories of his atrocities spread across Europe, shocking and fascinating people for centuries. German pamphlets depicted him as a bloodthirsty tyrant. Russian chronicles called him a just but merciless ruler. By the 19th century, Bram Stoker merged these tales with vampire folklore, creating the immortal Count Dracula, a far cry from the real man, but a testament to the enduring horror of his name. So who was Vlad the Impaler, a monster, a hero, or something in between? History remembers him as one of the most brutal rulers of all time, but the world he lived in was brutal too. Surrounded by enemies, betrayed by family, and ruling a land constantly under threat, His extreme actions may have been the only way to survive. Perhaps that's the most terrifying thing of all, not that a man like Vlad existed, but that his cruelty was, in some ways, a product of his time. The real Dracula wasn't a vampire lurking in the shadows. He was a flesh and blood ruler who understood the power of fear and wielded it without mercy.
Hey there, if you're enjoying this video and appreciate the effort behind it, don't forget to like this video. It really helps the channel grow, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you never miss an update. Oh, and one more thing, share this video with your friends. Spread the love and support. Alright, now let's get back to the video. Let me know if you want any tweaks.